Hey guys, thank you for clicking this video. Just to let you know, this is a segment from my live streams that I do Sunday through Friday. Once again, if you want to catch the live stream, that is going to be Sunday through Friday, 6:30 Mountain Time. And if you don't know what time that is in your time, go ahead and Google it. But once again, enjoy the video, subscribe, and like this video. Back to the video. Let's talk about men, okay? Now, when it comes to these type of topics, I don't want to say I'm not an expert in. Like, I'm a 38-year-old man myself. I grew up without a father. I grew up with my mom on disabilities. I grew up under, the government, I guess you would say, Section 8 housing, food stamps. I lived it all. I am that child when people are talking about. I grew up in the hood. I grew up, it was just whatever you could think of. Like, I went through it. I lived it. But yet, I had to personally find male figures either within my family or on TV and be like, you know what? That's how a man should be acting. I want to replicate that. And no, I wasn't able to look up to the Martin Luther Kings or the Malcolm X's or the Huey P. Newtons. It was just simple like celebrities. And that kind of got me to a point to where I can become my own man. But this is a political channel. So I try to make sure my content is aimed for political viewers. But now, well, not now. This has kind of been an ongoing conversation for the past, 10 years. White men are now the center of attention, which is not new, but when it comes to depression and when it comes to, I'm not going to say the S word because YouTube does not like that S word, so I'm going to say self-harming, okay? When it comes to depression and self-harm, white men are creeping to the top of the statistics, which is not good. I would never disregard that conversation. To me, that shouldn't be solely a political conversation. Like, that's mental health. That's for doctors and therapists to deal with. But when people start trying to force it into politics, like forcing a square cube into a circle cutout, like they're forcing it. Now we're here. Now we're talking about it, okay? One half of me wants to say, like, this is the real, raw, unfiltered part of me, okay? One part of me is saying, I don't want to care. Because when black people, black communities, black Americans were telling the government, telling other people, hey, systemic racism is a real thing. Racism, bigotry is affecting our communities, our opportunities, our education, our economic status is affecting us. No one cared. You know what they told us? They told you to pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. Take accountability for your own actions, for your own outcome, for your own success. That's what they've been telling us for years, for decades. When the crack pandemic happened, what did they tell us? Hey, just stop doing drugs. Just stop doing drugs. And when black Americans fell into it, what did they do? Threw our ass in jail. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No pass and go, no collecting $200, just straight to jail. But now, just like the opioid pandemic, now we need a government intervention. Now we need to talk about it because now it's affecting white Americans. Same with white men. Now depression. Now mental health is an issue. Now self-harm. Now we need to talk about it when it affects one half of the country. But I'm not selfish. I don't want to be that selfish guy. So now let's approach it because progressives need to have solutions. We need to talk it and we need to act it. So when it comes to young men, and like I told you, I used to be I guess I'm still a young man, but when I was a younger man, all I needed was opportunities. All I needed was my government to provide what's needed for me to succeed. Here's a little description. Let's see. It's the government's duty to foster opportunity, safety, and upward mobility for young men, empowering them to build stable families, financial independence, and successful careers. I'm not saying my government to give me everything. All I'm saying is, hey, give me the tools and the opportunity and watch me go to work. That's all I'm saying. But we know with capitalism, and yes, I done said the C word, capitalism is screwing all of that up. Greediness, money and politics, and probably a whole list of things. It is hindering not only young men, but since that's the subject now, it is holding young men back because they see that there is no viable future for them. They can't get out their mama's crib. They're making less money than their parents did. No use for any stability. No careers. Jobs is trash. What do they have to look for? So when it comes to our government, they have a responsibility in that aspect. But like the video we're about to see, they want to pin white men in their depression and their self-harm solely on Democrats, solely on progressives. And to me, that is a cop-out answer. So before we get into it, I need to, once again, I know it sucks, got to throw on the blockers. This is for copyright purposes. I don't think I ever played this video before, but I'm getting feelings that if I don't do this, I will get a copyright, and editing this video will be a pain. So
I want to talk about something that's really important to me. So you're big into inequality, as am I. I grew up as working class as is possible. The only thing...
And before, if you guys don't know, this is Chris Williamson. Not too familiar. I've seen a few of his interviews, never really cared too much, but I've seen a few. So this is Chris Williamson, and he's talking to Bernie Sanders about why young men are leaving the left. So that's what all this is here.
Quality, as am I. I grew up as working class as is possible. The only thing that was famous about the town that I grew up in the UK is it had the highest teen pregnancy rating in the UK. And then it lost that. So it didn't even have that anymore. Fatherlessness. Boys who grow up apart from their biological father are about 2 times more likely to land in prison or jail by age 30. Fatherlessness is a better predictor of incarceration than race or growing up poor. Young men are more likely to end up in prison or jail in the US than they are to graduate from college if they are raised in any non-intact family setup. Regardless of family income, children in intact families are about half as likely to be diagnosed with depression. What do you make of that?
He's asking Bernie Sanders. Once again, if young men are looking towards politicians to teach them how to be a man, or the quest of being a man, you're going to lose. Politicians deals with policies, politics, laws, things like that. I don't want to say they're not equipped, but like, why? There's plenty of male role models. Look for them. If you're looking for a politician, you can look for a man that is well equipped and able to communicate with you on what you're going through. But asking Bernie Sanders, to me, that's just weird. Like, okay, let's ask Bernie Sanders how to play basketball next, I guess.
I make it to be a serious crisis. And I make it, I believe in family. And I believe we have got to create the conditions for young people to be good dads and good moms, and to raise healthy children.
Thinking about some of the groups that you brought up today, one of the ones that's obvious in its absence is men. Why have the left tended to not talk about men's issues, do you think?
That's a good question. And I think, we start with, I think the underlying issue is that for a very long time, women were second-class citizens in this country. And people were saying, does it make sense that you have women who cannot become police officers, soldiers, carpenters, governors, presidents of the United States? And that's wrong. If we believe in equality, we want to give everybody an equal opportunity. So I think there was that focus on that. I think the issue you're raising is getting more discussion, and it needs far more, is that what we have seen right now, and I was on a plane coming from Washington back to Vermont, sitting next to a woman, and she's visiting her daughter at the University of Vermont. And we were chatting, and she mentioned to me that something like over 60% of the kids in her daughter's class were women.
Correct.
Okay.
2 women for every 1 man completing a
Is that what it
US
is now?
college degree, basically. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Not a good situation.
No. That's a bigger gap than when Title IX came in 50 years ago.
All right.
In the other direction.
This is a serious issue. And I think it is not incompatible to say that we believe in women's rights, the right of women to control their own body, that we don't want women to be second-class citizens. But say at the same thing, of course, we want our young men to be able to have all of the opportunities that they deserve as well. And
So what Bernie Sanders is trying to explain, and hopefully I don't get one of these comments in my video, because I seen a comment under this video saying like, why is Bernie Sanders talking about women? Like, he's supposed to be talking about men. Is like, okay, context, listen, comprehend this, okay? From a lot of these circles that I've been hearing, with the red pill and, the manosphere, whatever they want to call it, okay, I got you. They want to blame women for their failures. Oh, it's women because women are doing things and women are succeeding and getting jobs and going to school. So therefore, like, I guess it's hindering them in some sort of way. So where Bernie Sanders is trying to lay down the foundation of it's not women's fault. Oddly enough, women and men can succeed at the same time. Guess what? America has the resources and the opportunities to make that happen. So what Bernie is trying to say, without saying it directly, is saying, hey, don't blame women. It is you. You need to figure out you, not women. So just to get that out.
there has not been the kind of focus on that I think needs to be.
Do you know Richard Reeves? He does the American Institute for Boys and Men. Policy one.
I have heard of it. I don't know.
He wrote of Boys and Men. So this is just a passage from an article he wrote a little while ago. Just want to get you to react to this. Suicide rates among men under 30 have risen by 40% since 2010 and are 4 times higher than among young women. Male suicides account for as many deaths as breast cancer. Men are less likely than women to go to college or to buy a home. They're more likely to be lonely and more vulnerable to addiction. Young white men from lower income homes are worse off than their fathers on almost every economic and social indicator. Yep. There is a bigger gender gap on campuses today than in 1972 when the government passed Title IX to prevent sex-based discrimination in education. But today, the disparities in college enrollment and performance are the other way around. There is no strong evidence that young men are turning against gender equality, but they have turned away from the left because the left has turned away from them. The problems of young men are not the confections of reactionaries. This is a story of elite neglect, not voter chauvinism. The Democrats have failed to address these issues. Under the Biden administration, the Centers for Disease Center Control and Prevention has refused to acknowledge the gender disparity in suicide rates. The White House Gender Policy Council has not tackled a single issue primarily facing boys and men. There have been initiatives to promote women in STEM and construction, but nothing about encouraging men into teaching on men's health. There is women's health research initiatives, but no office on men's health. The Democrats and progressive institutions have a massive blind spot when it comes to male issues, and this was exposed in the election. At worst, men are seen as not having problems, but as being the problem.
Okay, Bernie Sanders, hold on, take a break. Give me a second. The last time, unless something changed within the past maybe, 30 minutes, I thought there was more than just the Democratic Party within America. Like what's if they're leaving the left? Okay, because I didn't know all men were just on the left, but okay, confusing me. If men are leaving the left because they're not getting the mental attention that they need, which, okay, hey, let's have that conversation. But if they're leaving the left, where are they going? Where are they going? Because last time I looked, it was only a Republican Party. Now, Green Party, Independent, that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe not even a conversation. But what is Republicans? What did Trump offer? What did Trump offer in regards to helping men mentally with depression and self-harming? I missed it. And if he did promise it and you fell for the okie doke, where is the substance? Where is the help? So the conversation should not just be, oh, Democrats are not helping men. It should be our government is not helping men. That would be a better premise. That'll be a better conversation. But to frame it that it's just a Democrat or a left problem is disingenuous and honestly lazy. And then you bring on Bernie Sanders, which we can get into it. His policies would help. It would help. Do we really need to go over the policies? Higher wages, education, healthcare. That also would help with mental care. So like, why? Why are people so lazy to just connect the dots and then have a better argument? Okay, I'm done. Okay, Bernie Sanders, go for it.
That was Richard. He's as policy wonky, DC, fluffy
I agree
as you
with
get.
much, not all what he's saying. I think, look, here is the issue. The world, in the fight for women's equality, the world has changed. All right? 50, 60 years ago, men were the breadwinners in most households, right? Mm-hmm. Men were the bosses. Mm-hmm. Men made the most money. Men were the governors. Men were the presidents. Men were the senators. It was a man's world. That's changed. And the fact that we have fought and achieved more equality for women is a positive thing.
I agree.
All right. But you're suddenly seeing, and I think half of what he says is very true. Mm-hmm. You're suddenly seeing men feel, does anyone give a damn about me? You know, what's going on in my life? Good. We want women's equality. What about me? Have we paid enough attention to that? I think we have not, and I think we need to do a better job. I don't believe that everything that Reeves is saying is accurate.
I understand. But I was watching that now infamous interview that you and AOC did on CNN last week.
It was infamous? What, was Fox Television picked up on it?
Yeah. Well, it's just gone everywhere. Good. It's gone everywhere, right?
What was infamous about it?
This is what we're talking about. And then you kind of blew through when it was asked, is this going to be a challenge? That wasn't what I was interested in, primarily. What I thought was real interesting was she said the reason that Republicans have appealed to young men is a dangerous way. They are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them. Do you think Democrats have done a good job of giving men a positive vision about themselves? She's saying that this is an insecure masculinity as opposed to a healthy one.
Hey, now I didn't hear that quote from AOC, but is she lying? Is she lying? Now, I am okay with saying, hey, progressives or, some of the prominent progressives, politicians haven't directly spoken to men like they do with, women's rights and women's health care. Okay, got you. After this segment, we can cook up some things and we can put that into our list of things that we want progressives to accomplish. I don't mind that. But you be damn crazy. You be off your rocker. You would have a few screws loose to think Republicans have a better plan into helping men become great men. Young men into great men. You be crazy to think that. I'm crazy.
I'm not a great expert on this.
Yep.
I think this is a real issue.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to pay a lot more attention to it.
Quick aside.
All right, that's it. Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders gave the right answer. I'm not an expert in this, but we do need to pay attention. He didn't blow it out, say, we ain't got nothing to worry about. No, we're good. Like, no, Bernie Sanders is a politician. He doesn't know everything. He doesn't have solutions for everything. That's what a movement is for. What Bernie Sanders may not be strong in one area, we got that on this side. That's how a movement, a team should be operating. But if you want to talk about men's health, bring in experts. Bring someone who's studied within that field, who knows the data and statistics and might have solutions. Bring maybe a therapist or a doctor and Bernie Sanders and let them converse. But like, I don't know. What are we doing here? If I can come up with these ideas, why are people so lazy to not do this themselves? You know what? I'm going to try to set that up. I'm going to try to get a doctor. I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know if I can. And then bring on a politician. Don't know how I'm going to make that happen. But that's one thing I'm going to put on my wish list, is to bring these two together so they can talk about this, come up maybe with some policies or some recommendations, something, and then we can have that part of our platform. That's simple. But to sit here and be like, oh my God, men are leaving the left, and they're like, bro, shut up. Like, get on out of here. If you're not well equipped to have these political conversations, get out of my octagon. Get out of my arena. That's simple.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.